Welcome to the Quality AI Audit Manager Summer Release webinar, and thanks very much for joining us. My name is Scott Harvey, and I'll be the moderator today. I'm very pleased to introduce Karoly Kali, or Karesz, as many people know him.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. Thanks for introduction, and I'm thrilled to be here. And welcome to everybody who joined us today.
Perfect. Karesz is a quality veteran with many years of experience, as you can see. We started talking to him a couple of years ago, and he was helping us plan product design and strategy. And we quickly built a strong relationship because we could tell that he really had real world experience on the plant floor and in quality, and it wasn't just theory and stuff like that. Karesz liked it so much and found out that it would solve his customers' problems so well that he wound up becoming a solutions provider for Quality AI. So we couldn't ask for anybody better to walk us through not just the features, but the day-to-day, the practical impact of those features and AI in general on quality workflows. All right, so this is what we'll cover today. First, we'll discuss the current state of quality management in manufacturing and the challenges in traditional quality auditing processes. After that, we'll talk about why innovation in general and in AI specifically are so critical right now. Then we'll move to discuss some of the breakthroughs that we've made in scheduling, as well as digging into how we've integrated some of the AI features into the core of the product, rather than just bolting it on, as a way to be able to ask a simple question. Let's see. So after that, we'll do a live demonstration where we start from scratch, and we'll walk you through some of the newest features with a strong focus on AI, of course. And really, aside here, when I was watching one of the practice sessions, I was just struck by how much real world applicability this all had for daily quality processes, rather than just kind of a dry session where we talk about just feature after feature, right? So, and then finally, after that, we'll spend just a few minutes discussing our robotic process agents and how they function as an ever-present co-auditor, we call them. So just some real quick housekeeping before I turn it over to Karesz. You'll see a Q&A box to click on to submit questions. And depending on the volume of questions, how complicated they are, we'll answer what we can live at the end of the webinar. And then anything that we don't have time to answer, we'll follow up with a detailed response after that. And actually, we'll send the responses to everybody that's on this webinar right now, because if you're like me, you'll see a number of questions that you'd like to know the answers to as well. And then once we are recording the webinar, as you can see, and we'll send that and the slides out to you once it's finished processing and we get it uploaded. Okay, Karesz, you have the floor.
Thanks, Scott. I'm really thrilled to present you what we have done in the last time, and basically the summer release. So before I do that, let me take you back in time to a week I had some years ago already, where I had to support one of my customers to have to go through a recertification audit. So we had 6 plants on our hands, and we had to do scheduling. We had multiple languages, which we had to figure out how to deal with all the reports. And basically, we were just buried under checklist. And boy, I can tell you, Excel was not our friend that day. So I was thinking that it has to be a better way to this. It has to be a more somebody's or something to help us to do this, and not to go through all these checklists and work through this the whole night. So after a while, I met with the guys from Quality AI, and we figured out that this is the solution, and we're really thrilled to show you. Okay, I was already using, of course, Quality AI, but we are really thrilled to show you what we have implemented now with the summer release. But before we show you, we have the main question. Basically, if you're like me or like any of us in the automotive industry or any other manufacturing industry, we are stuck at this current state where we have our lovable Excel and the paper format, and we also have in the meantime we also have digitized solutions. The problem is with digitized solutions, we are just digitizing old habits, and we don't have a system which reduces errors, prevents issues from happening. And to be honest, that's what we need. And here comes into play the AI-centric auditing management system, which QualityAI is also a system where we basically reduce errors, prevent issues from happening. And let's be honest, in nowadays world, this is not anymore luxury. It's basically survival, because who will be able to gather all this information, be fast, analyze the data, will have an advantage. Cool. So the idea was that when I had this issue, which I told you about, I wanted to have relief relief for myself, relief from my customer, clarity and transparency that they know they are well prepared for this recertification audit, and also to have the speed necessary. And we have some tools here, which some of them were already available, but we have introduced some very cool and new features, which we want to show you now. If you ask me, when I first heard about the DuPont shift model, I was struck how complicated it is. Until last week, as I was at the customer side, and funny enough, the HR lady explained me in about 10 to 15 minutes how their shift model is working. And as you can see, this was the shift model 2-2 shift pattern. So people working in 24/7 in this shift model. And after I understood it, it took me like 1 minute to implement it in QualityAI. So it's that simple to have any kind of complex shift pattern and multiple shift patterns in the platform, so you can take advantage of those. And we all have, when we buy any electronics, you always get the book. You always get the book, the volume, which we never read. We just throw it in the back and say, okay, we know what we're doing. Here we also have documented tutorials, of course. So this is something new. You can go through and read it. Good luck with that. So we said, okay, we want to do more for you, not just read through hundreds of pages, because I told you that we want speed and not slow you down. So as we have AI, why not implement it directly into the ask for help? So that means you can ask and talk to this book, talk to this volume, this which you never read or you only read when you have issues. And you can ask, for example, I can set up a shift pattern between 3 shifts, and he will answer you specifically. And if you're not happy with the answer, like with any ChatGPT or any other large language model, you can talk through and ask him questions. So this is as simple as that. And you can still do it also on your own language. As you can see here, English is selected, but you can do in languages which you wish, and it's already implemented into our system. And if you don't know if you really need help or not, he's there 24/7 to support you and give you any answers you need. So that's pretty much one of the big benefits of working with AI, that there is an agent always helping you to get the best answer you wish for. Good. Talking about agents and talking about help, I want to emphasize what we introduced now in the summer release is that you have a co-auditor. So basically you can imagine this complete audit manager system is like being your co-auditor. And we scattered in specific locations in the application, AI chat buttons. These AI chat buttons support you in this example with the requirements. So you have a list of requirements which you introduce and you want to audit, but maybe you're missing some requirements. Maybe you want to have a different opinion on the setup or what other recommendation there are existing. No problem. Just hit the button and then ask the agent behind it, and he will give you all the information you need, and then you can prepare yourself for implementing the right requirements. The same thing goes for templates. We will show you in the live demonstration how you use templates. But in the templates area, basically, you can maybe have spelling mistakes, which I always do, and I always put ChatGPT or other large language model to help me figure out where I made mistakes in my spelling. Or you want to have logic check or any suggestion of questions which you might not know what to ask, you can ask our large language model and it will give you feedback. So this, you can find it always with the small mark here with the small arrow, but scattered in the right areas of our program. So another feature is the audit program. Here you can have more information. For example, who is the most used auditor, or where we have requirements missing, or maybe I need more auditors, or what is happening in the other plants. So we can have multiple plants and have a view of what the other plants audit program look like. So all of this you can ask using these buttons, and yeah, basically you have your own co-auditor, which it supports you 24/7. And fun enough, last week when I was at this customer, which I was telling you about, they was telling me that they have the situation that they have to go to a subcontractor and they have to perform an audit according to a requirement from they are working in aerospace. So according to a standard in aerospace, they have to do this. They have to do this audit, but the specification is really just a specification, not really an audit questionnaire. So they didn't know, okay, what question should I ask the supplier or the subcontractor in this case? So fun enough, I just uploaded this document to our AI chat, which I just showed you in the requirements area, and in a couple of seconds I got generated the exact questions what you should ask according to this specific document. And you can do so, and as I said, you can iterate. So if you're not liking the first view what you get, you can iterate and do it as you wish. Okay, so as I said, let's have fun. And so far you may be thinking, oh, these guys are nice. They're doing some nice screenshots of maybe doing some Photoshop, some Canva and stuff like that. So I would say let's jump and use also to make a live demonstration for you that you can really see that it's what we're talking about, or what the screens you have seen, they are existing and available. So bear with me to jump in here and show you the live system. Cool. So we are in the live system. If we are sharing screen anyway, I'm going to take the chance to show you this document based on which this requirement was made. So you can see here's like 7-page technical specification, technical requirements, and based out of which this screenshot you have seen was taken. But we'll come back to also putting to work our AI agents shortly. But first of all, I want to show you and I want to share with you and do together a 5S audit. So I'm going to set up this audit. I'm going to even show you how you can set up the questions for this audit. And after that, we're going to perform it together, or I'm going to perform it and you're going to watch in this case, but I'm going to use my mobile device to do that. So first of all, we have some requirements which we have to do. So we have here some requirements. I already pre-created the requirement 5S summer release webinar in order not to take up of our time and to show you. And what is a cool feature when we want to create a new checklist, it's very simple to add questions. So here we have some requirements which we already created the requirement for, and I need to create some questions and some templates. So here I say, okay, 5S summer webinar. And I can just add questions very easily. You can predefine questions from a question library. Here I have some questions already for 5S. I'm not going to take those because that would be too simple. You can download at any moment this template, which looks like this, and you can fill it up with the relevant questions and just upload it back like I'm going to do now. I had one which I pre-filled, and you're going to see immediately the questions. So as you can see in a couple of, not even seconds, I have the questions from the Excel file. Here you can have thousands of questions. It's up to the checklist or the requirement. And I already upload all these questions into the application. So, and then I can select them. I want to have these questions that I want to ask in my checklist. I have them here, as you can see, with the predefined, for each question, predefined settings. So for each question, you can really go deep and set up different aspects of the question you want to ask. You want to have response is required, photo is required. You will see why I'm saying this. Or maybe not applicable answer is allowed, or different options. You can choose pass and fail. You can choose multiple choice answers. So you have a big variety of properties which you can choose from. And you can even add advanced logic. That means from one question, you can go to another question depending on the answer. So you have really a lot of possibilities. Now we're going to stick to the ones which we uploaded. We're going to say save template, approve and publish. So when we go to our dashboard and we want to do another audit, then we're going to have the possibility to select summer release webinar audit. And let's jump into the mobile phone and start the audit as I promised. So let me here share my phone. You can now see my phone. I'm already connected. As you can see, QualityAI is a web-based application, so you don't need to install anything on your PC. It runs on mobile, it runs on tablet, and also on the PC, of course. And it was designed and developed with the focus to have it mobile friendly. You can do also part of the audit on your mobile. You can do part of the audit on your laptop or on the tablet. You can switch between, and you have different possibilities. Okay, so I have a summer release webinar. It says it takes 30 minutes. We're going to do it faster. We're not going to go into the details of the shop floor now. And you can see it shows up the questions as we enter them on the checklist. Are personal items limited and stored in the designed areas only? I would say it's failed in this case. And say there are materials stored from maintenance in the area. Containment action necessary, yes. And then you can add an action. clean up the area near station X97. Select the responsible. In this case, it's 2 times me. And I can select the deadline that I want it to be done today. And I can take a photo. Here I'm going to use a photo which I have in my library. And I said done. And I can even add a note, but here you can see it's a mess. It needs to be cleaned up. So we go to the next question. Is there a visual management, shadow board, outline, color code, coding for tools placement? It's a pass, existing. We can add a photo, or we can add here a note if we want, like color coding is existing. Oops. Cool. Next. Our cleaning responsibility is clearly assigned and documented. Yes, but I make a note. Some dirt in one of the bins. I can add a photo from photo library, for example, here. Yeah. Standardize, all team members understand their 5S responsibilities. Yeah, pass, and I will add a photo. In this case, I'm gonna take a photo, and here you can see one of my books which I'm reading. It's from a cool guy, and I'm gonna use this photo here. Okay, so is the continuous improvement in 5S practices actively encouraged? Say pass, the management is supporting that, and I can add a comment, and here we go, we are ending the audit. And immediately, once you have done this, you have finalized the audit and your report is also ready. And now what is very, very cool, you can see here, you have all your findings, pictures, results. So you can download in a PDF immediately, or you can export it to any possible way. But what is very cool is now an agent is looking at what we have found and what we have detected, and comparing it to previous results. This is what I was telling you about, that you will have insights, you will have clarity and transparency. And going back to my example where I took you back in time, there we had to look over hundreds of reports from different plants, from different in different languages. And now we have the possibility at the glance, okay, I see the results, the overall scoring, which is a very basic scoring method in this case, but more advanced methods can be implemented. We have a summary created by the AI agent, and we have, as you can see, comparison to other audits. So we had other audits on this day and on that day and so on and so forth. Of course, as many information, as many examples you will add, the more rich will become your audit experience. And besides comparison with other audits, it can be other plants audit, it can be the same plant audit. You have also key pattern and trends. So if it detects, and it will detect patterns, even if it's written in a slightly different way, it will detect and suggest you patterns which may occur, and then you should take action upon them. Notable successes, opportunities for improvement, and you get a summary. All of this in a couple of seconds while you're on your phone or now I'm going to close we are back in this mode. And here I already have this report available with the mentioned information. It's so fast, the connection between these two systems. So you don't have to wait and then analyze and compare, make meetings with the other plants, with the other teams, collect data. So everything is done by the agent. And this is just one of the agents we have running and supporting you as the co-auditor and also as a basically a digital quality manager in order to have a view on what is happening. Good. Hopefully that you like this tool so far. Now I promise you that we're gonna put it to test. So as I said, in the requirements, we have these buttons. You remember we had some screenshots, nice, and they're not Photoshop, they're here. So let's use this chatbot. And I have here a drawing, not that complicated one, but still with some information on it. And I will upload this drawing to it. By the way, you might ask, okay, what happens with the drawing? Because these are sensible information. What happens to the drawings once they are uploaded? Once I close the chat or there is not any more use of this drawing basically is deleted from the server. So it's not being stored. And yeah, but more on that maybe later if you have questions regarding security. But this would be maybe a security question from my side. Good. So here, I would give him a prompt because I would like to do a product audit. And for a product audit, I need the dimensions, what I need to measure. So provide me with relevant dimensions and tolerances to be measured during the product audit. So the AI will take some time until it analyzes the drawing and will generate, hopefully, we'll see, it will generate us the requirements list of what are the measurements we want to use or should use during the product audit and with what tolerances. Maybe we'll also underline different aspects. And as I mentioned to you, you can always ask back and continue with next questions. So it's your possibility. So it will give you the total cable length is given as 1,500 plus minus and so on. Section length, what you need to measure, other feature checks, stripping of the core insulation, lettering must be readable. So it will take all the elements of the drawing and will translate it to you in a readable and understandable way. So you can just imagine the potentials when you do PPAPs or any other process where you can look at the drawing very fast and gather all this information and start to utilize them immediately. So yeah, this is the power of AI, the power of agents. Good. So moving back to our slides here. What's behind all of this? We have our agents. I know now it's very talked about point, the agent, because they're always like, yeah, after the ChatGPT and LMM, now the agents are in place and you can automatize multiple things. So yes, we have developed our own agents, which basically can be configured for any unlimited number of tasks. And you can imagine an agent like an invisible team member who doesn't need to sleep, doesn't ask for food. and also not for money, but who will help you to have this relief, this clarity, and this speed what you want to have and you need to have in nowadays world. It will give it to you in a very fast and accurate way. And this is not just a simple if then do this application like we were doing it in the past. I finished computer science and I always was used to, okay, this is an if, and then you do this. This is not as simple as that, because you have cross-validation, you have data processing, you have analysis, and you can put multiple steps or multiple agents to work on different aspects in order to give you the needed information that you can take the fast decisions. And you have seen one of them, but there are multiple ones. So you have seen the reports inside agents where you will get this overview. Besides the audit scoring and the key findings, you will also get the comparisons, the lesson learned, what we have seen from different audits, from previous audits, and these agents are learning as the time passes. So if you have more information stored in your system, then you will have more information and better quality information in order to take decisions, and the AI could evaluate those informations. So yeah, that's topic with the agents. You have the possibility, and there are multitude of possibility at the moment. We are working on different additional agents. One will be related to product safety. That means to monitor the recalls, because this is a very special topic and, let's say, close to my heart, because I'm working also as a VDA/QMC licensed partner trainer, and my specialty is in product safety and conformity. And we are working now on an agent that you don't have to check all the governmental sites and recalls. It will have an agent probably with the winter release, as we are now in the summer release. With the winter release, probably will have this agent up and running. And other agents we are considering is for the supplier development and supply management agent, also for other possibilities. We'll have this agent in the future put to action. So, all that being said, I hope you got a glimpse of what is possible and which direction we are heading with a very fast speed. And we are, as you can tell, very excited about what we can achieve already now, especially now with the summer release updates. Scott, back to you.
A great overview, great demonstration, Karesz. Thank you very much. Like I said in the beginning, it just really, to me, it brings home how useful that this can be when you show the real world examples and kind of talk about the use cases and so on. So great job there. We've gotten a number of questions in the Q&A box. We've also gotten a bunch of people who have raised their hands. Just because of the sheer number of people that are on, it'll be tough to unmute and try to fit in everybody. So if you can type your questions in the Q&A box, that would be excellent. And we'll just start reading. And remember, like I said, we will answer what we can. We will be respectful of your time and end in about 11 minutes here. But anything that we don't get to, rest assured, we've got them saved. We will answer all of the questions, send all the answers back on all of them to everybody that's on the webinar, okay? All right, so let's, without further ado, let's see here. Yeah, so that's actually a really good one. First question is from Stefan. He asked one of the most important questions right off the bat, and that is, how much does it cost?
Yeah, usually the typical question you get from such when you present so many things and then you get, okay, but what will be the damage? As
Exactly.
one of my customers asked me as well. So
Exactly. So,
first off,
so
yeah,
yeah, Audit Manager's priced per plan. It supports unlimited users and unlimited audits because we want you to be able to utilize all of its most valuable capabilities wherever you can without additional costs. And so it's an annual subscription service, which is based on the number of employees in the plant, and it starts at $4,000 USD per year. And just in case it wasn't clear, all of these new AI features that Karesz just demonstrated, they're all included in the base product. There's no additional cost at all. We do have 4 major releases a year under the subscription. All of those things just, again, they're not additional costs. They're just part of what you are subscribing to and the product that you're getting. Okay, hopefully that answers that question. Let's see, Karesz, do you want to take one of them and then I'll look for the next one after that?
yes, I have here one from Max. Yeah. Can we share information if we have multiple plants running the software? Yes, you can do that because I also mentioned that you can do cross-plant checks. So we actually have an add-on called Quality Connect, which is used specifically for aggregation of multiple plants in order to give you full visibility on any plant we're running this audit manager. So it can create aggregated reports on audits, findings, etc. And yeah, so basically you don't have to do, as I mentioned during the presentation, you don't have to do this all these meetings, which I remember I had to do when I was quality director on system responsible for systems. I always had to do these meetings where I have to collect all the information, then do another round where we implemented all this lesson learned into the new audit plan. This you can do with this add-on with Quality Connect, which we have available.
Perfect.
So I'm
Excellent. That was
looking
really
in the
helpful.
meantime.
Yeah, and I just wanted to put the slide up. I know some people may need to run now that the meat of it's over if they don't have time to stay for questions. So I wanted to make sure we got the first of all, thank you very much for attending and giving us some of your valuable time. But second, just to make sure that you had Karesz's contact info there. So okay, next question is from Claude, and actually we got a bunch coming in now in the Q&A box, Karesz. I don't know if you can find the next one
I
while
see.
I'm doing
Yeah,
this one.
I will take it.
All right, so the next one, while you're looking at those, let's see. Claude asks, what do we do if we want to ask the same or similar questions in multiple plants? Which actually is good timing because it kind of relates back to what Karesz mentioned about the Quality Connect add-on. You can maintain a question library where you can store your questions and then they can be shared with multiple plants. And if the plants want the question in a localized language, those questions can be translated by the engine in real time and used locally in plants and other geographies. So it's a very, very seamless process. Hope that answers
Cool.
that question. We can always expand.
I took the question from Muhammad, who is okay. He asked, I think this question was already answered, but just to clarify how much it would cost in the UK. So it's 4,000 US dollars, starting from 4,000 US dollars also in UK. And also then I will take the next one because he wrote two. Can we upload our existing checklist, extra Word files on our system? Yes, you can. As you could see, I also uploaded the document. What you will get a template from the system which you download, and basically from the template you can insert all your questions, copy paste it in the template, and then upload the template to have one standard template to upload. So any questions you can upload and set up in the template and then upload it to the QualityAI.
Perfect.
The next one, Scott, or?
Yeah, Karesz, I didn't even notice that we had questions in the webinar chat that you were answering, which was great. I was stuck on the Q&A box, so I was working on those. Looks like we got a little bit of overlap, so that's our fault. I've got one here. I'll answer that. Maybe check the Q&A box as well. And again, everybody, don't worry. I promise you, we will get back to you with detailed answers. We'll send it to everybody. We've got them all tracked. Sani, Alexander, Marco, Gabor. We've definitely got you covered. Okay, so moving on real quick. Pietro asked if it's possible to use the audit data with their other systems and then things like Power BI and so on. We do, Pietro, yes, we have an add-on called Data Stage that allows for you to upload and refresh your data from your account once per day to any location or any system that you choose. And the details are a little bit over my head and they get a little technical sometimes, but I can put this to our development team just to make sure that, you know, I answer and give you anything that you really need to know on that. But we absolutely support it, and it's a pretty common requirement and something that we're used to and we handle. All right. Karesz, got anything ready?
Here are a lot of questions from Sunny. I hope I pronounce it correctly. How easy it is to go between the tasks during the audit. For example, you start the audit and you have a larger area. It is easier to take pictures and write during it and not to remember what happened where. Is it possible to have a map and mark the place where the non-conformities was found? Can the report be modified at the computer? Yes. So let's say all the answers are yes, it's possible. So you can let's say you are a specific question and you're a specific area. You can take a photo, upload the photo to that specific topic, write some notes, and then go to the next question. And when you go back, and then you can always go from your PC and you can always type, you go back to the report and type in all the, let's say, the non-conformity or whatever you have detected. What I do personally, what I've used the audit manager like that. I had, because I'm not that I'm old school, but I have a digital system which I use. I take my notes, and in this digital system, I jotted down some ideas during the audit. So actually, with the phone, I took a picture, I put it in that specific point in the audit, and then when I was back at the PC, I could revisit that point. So it's a matter of getting used to the different things. So back to you, Scott, if you have, because we have a lot of questions running in with multiple sources. So
yeah, they're coming in, which is great. We love questions. It's, you know, for us, it's all about fitting the software into your organization and not making you adapt to the software, right? So we love to get questions. We love to be able to answer them and show you how easy and straightforward it is. And actually, that's the one that I'm going to answer here real quick from Tomas. It's actually one of my favorite questions because I'm pretty proud of it. And that is, he asked, how do we get started using it? What is the general process? And as Karesz said earlier, it is completely cloud-based. So it runs on any device with a web browser, desktop, tablets, of course, mobile. So you don't have to install any apps on your computers, your network. You know, especially certain countries, China sometimes might make that a little bit more difficult, and app stores and all that stuff. So you don't have to worry about any of that, which is a really nice thing. And then second, we have a very robust implementation program that can get you started with a pilot system at no cost. And we actually do that by configuring one or two of your existing audits, which we can get live and in production on our solution in about 4 hours worth of working together. I do always like to say, as you know, it's an asterisk for complete transparency. We know you have a lot of other things going on, so we'll generally suggest, frankly, even if you want to do it all in one long call, we would suggest that you break those sessions up into multiple different days. And when we do that, we usually have people running live on the pilot program with a couple, audits, production working on your own system in 2 or 3 calendar weeks. So the speed of implementation is something that our customers always find pretty shocking. And I'm pretty proud of that one. I think our developers and our implementation people just knock it out of the park with that one. So I noticed we just hit 45 minutes after. We said we were going to be respectful of your time. We do have a number that are still coming in, which we again really appreciate. But I think it'd probably be best to go ahead and let everybody go now. Follow up with detailed replies via email. Karesz, before we go, any
maybe just to give an answer very quick to two different small topics, because I said it's repeating and I want to clarify really, even if we go 1-2 minutes over. Muhammad, you ask, is the 4,000 per year cost is regardless of the number of users in the company? Yes. As Scott mentioned, it starts at 4,000. Actually, our pricing model is based on the number of headcount you have at the certain plant. It's a yearly cost. And yes, in this frame, what you will get, it's unlimited users and unlimited number of audit for that specific plant. And last but not least, Gabor Pardos, regarding in the headline of the audit, I did not see the name of the workstation where the audit was done, where I can store the name. Yes, so this is stored in the background. Basically, you can plan up to station level the audits. You have 4 different levels: site, then inside the site you have different plant location and working area, and also you have the station area, and this will be visible once you plan it in that way. I didn't do it that way because it was a general presentation audit, but it's how this is how it works in real life. So that's all for now, because if not, we're going to go on, and as Scott mentioned, we want to be respectful of your time. So yeah, thank you very much for attending, taking the time, and you have our contact details. So please feel free to reach out, and we can then plan any meetings or any calls where we can present you more in detail, specifically for your application, the Audit Manager. Scott,
Yeah,
any
absolutely. And we'll follow up with the answers via email. We'll try to answer in detail. So give us just a little bit of time to get that done, and we'll get that back out to everybody. And as Karesz said, thank you very much for your interest and your attention and spending time with us today. Everybody have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.